Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is my thoughts and commentary on RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I'm a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. I've been watching since season 1. I followed every single season, and I've been a RuPaul fan ever since I was a child. Even back when he had his talk show on VH1, I used to watch it religiously, and I definitely loved his music. I'm a huge RuPaul fan. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I'm not a fan of where I'm starting to see the Drag Race is headed. I'm not liking the direction, and there have been also a lot of reports about a lot of racial discrimination and racial tension involving the show, and as well as the company World of Wonder that actually is one of the producers of RuPaul's Drag Race. So it's just a very unfortunate situation, and it's like it's the elephant's right there in the middle of the room, but it's not really being addressed. It's being addressed by some of the queens that has been affected. One being Tyra Sanchez, the Vixen, Kennedy Davenport, Nina Bonita Brown, so many, of our dark-skinned queens who have been marginalized and have also been racially attacked, while on the show and also post the show through social media. Like, this is becoming like a common trend with RuPaul's Drag Race, and it really needs to stop because it's really pissing me off that these queens can gain so much momentum on the show, but outside of the show they're treated like trash and they're not being respected for their art and their creativity. And on top of it, some of them are not getting the same opportunities as some of their white counterparts. That's an issue. Now, my whole thing of this video is not to bash RuPaul, but is to kind of ring the alarm that, look, this is a problem that can no longer be swept under the rug, and it's a problem that you can't no longer ignore, because if this continues, there's going to be a demise, in the viewership of this show. And I don't want that to happen, because this is a great show. It's groundbreaking. It's given a lot of careers to so many different, drag queens. As a matter of fact, it's created a new market, for the drag community, like DragCon, and a lot of these queens who appear in the show are now getting great opportunities outside the show, as far as venues where they can perform and make money. They can get endorsements and advertisements. RuPaul's Drag Race from season 1 up to season 10 has been a complete. It's been revolutionary in so many ways. Drag is now seen as an art form. It's seen as a mode of creativity that, when put together, it enlivens the human spirit. It enlivens, the human ability. And we've seen this with so many different queens throughout the seasons, of how a great drag look will literally stop you dead in your tracks, because you're like, wow, the beauty, the creativity, the uniqueness, the uniqueness, the nerve, the talent, it's everything. But I'm starting to see that there's this common trend with like racism, within the gay community, and it's starting to really show its ugly head on Drag Race. We definitely seen it this season, with the tensions between the Vixen and Eureka. And we've also seen it in All Stars 3, with Trixie and Shangela, when they had that exchange, and she kind of like just dismissed Shangela, like, get out of my station, like she was the help or some shit. There's been this thing, and I think if Ru doesn't address it and put a stop to it, it can lead to further problems. And I think the reason why Rue is like neutral right now, I get it. First of all, you know, the show started off in Logo. You know, when we saw the first season, there was not a big budget for season 1, but she turned it. Now, you know, she developed all of these seasons, you know, from season 1 to season 8 on Logo TV, which gained an enormous audience. And after a while, she got a bigger platform on VH1. And this happened after RuPaul won an Emmy, you know, for best TV reality show host, and he won two consecutive Emmys. He's now got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So I salute him for his success and for his, you know, for his endeavors, and also the great contribution that he has made to the drag world. A lot of these drag queens would not have the opportunities nor the platforms that they have if it wasn't for RuPaul creating the show. But now that it's now on a bigger platform, you know, you now have other sponsors, you now have other, you now have other corporations who are now funding the show. And Rue, at the end of the day, is about that green. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, when it comes down to business, the bottom line is green. But it's getting to the point where you have to actually put morality before money. And you also have to put, you know, the actual image before the money. Because right now, staying kind of on the sidelines while all of this is going on is not good. You know, especially as to what happened during the reunion when the Vixen walked out. I mean, the Vixen, one of the reasons why she walked out is because she really felt that she was, not only was she being attacked, but then she was kind of being painted as the villain of season 10. When in all actuality, yeah, the villain, yeah, she had some moments, because the Vixen definitely gave great TV. And as a matter of fact, I admit, after she left, I didn't watch Untucked anymore, because Untucked wasn't entertaining after the Vixen left. But the Vixen did have some points when it came down to Eureka. How the fact that, you know, once she watched everything back, she not only saw how Eureka intentionally poked her to get a reaction out of her, but then afterwards she was also going to try to control how they solved the situation. Because I was wondering, like, why later on the show, when I was thinking, like, okay, you know, Eureka apologized, why are you still mad? Now we find out why. You know, because she felt that Eureka was being fake, and Eureka was in it. She was in to play the game. She was in it to win it. But then I also found out that, you know, I also saw a video where, you know, Eureka was talking about how she uses the word nigger a lot, and that she uses it like 9 times a day and shit. And I'm thinking, so the Vixen was kind of putting it out there that, yeah, you know, Miss Eureka ain't all as squeaky clean as we think. And even during the reunion, she was saying that, look, all of you are teaching me all of you are telling me how to react, but nobody's telling her how to act. That was dead on. Like, bitch, shut up. Because Eureka has the gift of gab. Sometimes she runs her mouth like, you know, like millimeters per second, and she doesn't slow down. And even Rue even said that, you know, well, you can just stop. You know, it's not something you really have to think about. Just stop. And I think with that video, I think in all honesty, that cost her the crown. Because at the end of the day, Rue is all about marketing, and he's all about strategy. And you not gonna fuck up the brand on some bullshit, because tensions are high right now in this world. You know, as far as, you know, racial tensions, as far as the you know, economics, as far as government, as far as politics. It's crazy. But my whole main mission of doing this is to say that, look, this can no longer be ignored. I mean, after the Vixen walked out, you know, Rue starts talking about, I came from the same place she comes from. And she does. I mean, she came from Atlanta, even though the Vixen's from Chicago. She came from that humble, you know, inner city, you know, you know, um, urban upbringing, coming probably from a low income family, and pretty much who had to struggle to survive. So Ru comes from that. But then again, you know, she kind of also made this comment that whites whites discriminated against her because she was black, and blacks discriminated against her because she was gay, and then gays discriminated against her because she was too feminine. Now, that is kind of like some syllogism there, because you can have, because whites probably discriminated against you because you were gay as well. And also, blacks could have discriminated against you because of your skin color as well, because you got some blacks who don't like other blacks, and then the same thing with the gays. The racial tension and homophobia exist in all three categories. It exists within the gay community, it exists in the black community, and it also exists in the white community. There's no division there. So let's just say there was discrimination across the board, and the Vixen has felt this as well. Because at the end of the day, both of them were right. Especially when the Vixen was talking about that whole situation between Miss Cracker and Aquaria. She was more, when I was thinking like, okay, the Vixen, you being messy as hell, and somewhat it was. But then again, I understood where the Vixen was coming from, saying that, look, if you got an issue, you need to bring her to her face, and not, because even Miss Cracker because Aquaria was like, well, the thing is, I wasn't trying to make it an issue and bring it to her face, and then Miss Cracker was like, well, but instead do it behind my back. So in some way, Miss Cracker was kind of giving a nod to the Vixen, like, okay, you got a point there, like, she's saying that you need to address it because you obviously brought it up. Why not express it and say it to her face? But then once she did that, Aquaria started to backpedal, and that's what pissed the Vixen off. Don't talk shit, and then once I actually give you the go-ahead to say what you gotta say, you want to back away as if like you didn't say anything. But then again, Ru also was right when saying you could have just not said anything. That's true. You could have not involved yourself. But the Vixen is not that kind of person. If she sees any kind of injustice or sees anything that's an issue, she's all about addressing the issue. She's all about addressing the problem, not prolonging it, not letting it fester, but addressing it head on. So in all honesty, that was actually a good thing, and I was also proud of Asia O'Hara too, during the reunion, where she actually stood up for the Vixen. And we need that more within our community, where we actually support our own, not just in standards of race, but also in standards of humanity. We're supposed to be a community, and we're not supposed to marginalize anybody. So the fact that there are people being marginalized, the wise have said it, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So if we have this problem within the gay community, why are we asking people to support us if we're not even supporting our own, and we don't even have our own house together? And this is my call to Ru. Like, you have this great platform. You have to really, seriously take this into account, because if you don't, it could lead to the demise of Drag Race. Because as long as this racism, homophobia, and victimization continues to go on through the social media, where queens are being attacked, where their lives are being threatened, where their children are being threatened, this social media situation is insane. And Ru needs to really, really stand in front of this to stop this shit, because it's really totally destroying, the essence of what being on Drag Race is. These dark-skinned queens, black queens, dark-skinned queens, Puerto Rican, there's so many, Brazilian, You know, because, you know, we're not the only shade of dark. There's so many different variations of dark-skinned people. Even Indians, you know, there are even some Indians who are my complexion too. So when I say that is that, you know, how is it that these, you know, beautiful dark-skinned queens, you know, get on this platform, but then yet they become marginalized, they become racially attacked, they face discrimination, they face bigotry, they face threats because they beat out a queen or white queen who was the favorite. So now all of these young, you know, people get on social media and start attacking these queens. This should not be allowed to continue. It needs to be stopped, because social media has been, in some cases, very detrimental to so many, if not used in the right way. Social media is a great platform, but if it's used for evil, it can really be damaging to someone's self-esteem and even their very lives. So this is something that we need to take serious. This is something that Ru needs to take serious. Like, they need to be more public service announcements. There need to be more, like, advertisements saying that we need to stop bullying, stop this discrimination within the drag community, because how are we going to ask people to accept us as being members of the LGBTQ community if we're not doing that within ourselves? So I definitely want to send a shout out to Asia O'Hara for actually addressing that during the reunion, because it's something that needed to happen. It's something that needed to be said. And it's something that, as I said, it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address. And, you know, it really moved her to tears, because she's saying that we're the first people. We're always the first people to go after somebody because they're not treating us right, but yet we're not treating our own right. You know, and then, like, Ru was saying, like, well, is there something I could have said? She's like, it's not about what you say, it's what you do. It's about action. You know, and as a matter of fact, I felt that Asia was the one I was rooting for to win the crown, but of course, from that performance, she was not gonna get it. But then again, I'm actually happy that she made that stand, because it's something that it's something that needed to be said. It's something that needed to be addressed, and I'm happy that she supported the Vixen. As a matter of fact, I was so happy when the Vixen came to the grand finale and she held up the fist. She let it be known, I'm black and I'm proud, and I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, so that made me even more of a fan of the Vixen, because now I get her. You know, at first I was just thinking, okay, bitch, you doing too much. She's always complaining. She's always doing this. But then, you know, you only see what's on camera. But then yet, there's also, she's not only reacting to what we see on camera, she was also reacting to what was going on behind the scenes that we didn't see. So there was a lot of tension that she was dealing with, and it just came out on camera. And I'm not going to blame the editing, because editing has nothing to do with that. That was her reaction. It is what it is. But there's more to the reaction that we didn't see. And it's just it's crazy though, because I'm actually glad that she did a live after leaving where she explained why she left. And she explained why she felt some kind of way, because she kind of felt like she was being railroaded. You know, and she felt like everybody was like all team Eureka, and everybody was just kind of throwing it at her. And as we've seen recently, like, hey, you know, Eureka, you know, Eureka gets really slick with her mouth, and at the end of the day, they don't want America's Next Top Superstar running her mouth and fucking shit up. So people who are, you know, too out there, you know, you can't fuck up the brand, because you're representing that brand even after you win the crown. You know, and you're going to be representing that brand throughout your career, because it was the platform that got you known. But I really also want to stress out to World of Wonder that you need to actually start doing a lot more with these black queens and start giving them opportunities to shine even more so. You know, they should be able to get as much money and as much opportunity as their white counterparts, because they're just as good. In some cases, even better. So this marginalization that's going on in the industry needs to stop. It needs to stop now. It needs to be, remodeled to where every queen and who's the best of the best gets the backing and they get the support. It should not be based on this. It should be based on, on charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. That should be your basis as to who gets the backing, not by, who can cross all demographics, because black is everywhere. Black is international. There's not a place in this world that you'll go that you won't find dark-skinned people or black people. So this whole demographic BS needs to quit, and that people should be seen by what they present, and for the sport of the competition and how well they play it. That should be the basis. Judging people by their race and marginalizing them because of their race is just totally unacceptable. It's inhuman, and I have no place for it. And I'm letting you know, RuPaul, get in front of this or it will bite you in your ass. And I'm saying this as a true fan, because I'm proud of RuPaul and all of his accomplishments, and I want to continue to see him win. But allowing this type of racial tension to go on when you're black yourself is not going to look good, and it can lead to actually lead to a backlash if you're not careful. So that's what I have to say about this. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. If you agree, put it in the comments. If you disagree, that's fine. All I ask is that you respect me, because if you put anything disrespectful in my page, I will delete you, because I don't play that disrespect. And as I said, I'm a very respectful person. You can disagree, but be respectful, because I'm all ears to hear what people have to say in regards to the situation, because I'm a huge fan of this show. And I have to admit, season 9 and season 10 have been kind of lackluster for me, because of all the tension that's being very well apparent, but it's not being addressed in a mainstream way, and it needs to be addressed. And I actually hope that Ru can get in front of this and actually stir this into a different direction. So that's all I have. So subscribe to my channel. Click that bell to get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I definitely will be back with another episode of Thoughts and Commentary. So until next time, everybody, take care.